Well, for 2 weeks now, 12,000 Ontario college teachers and staff have been on strike, and their job action shows no signs of slowing down. Our Marianne Dimain is outside the courtyard at Marriott Hotel on Yonge Street. And Marianne, what are teachers planning this morning?
Well, Carolyn, normally the striking college workers have been picketing outside of their college campuses all across the province. But today, those who are striking in the GTA are expected to come to this hotel here downtown near College and Yonge Street to send a message to Minister of Advanced Education, Deb Matthews. She's expected to be here at this hotel later this morning to speak at a conference about campus mental health. But those picketing here will eventually try to send her the message that if she cares about campus mental health, the way to support them is to support quality full-time jobs, including those of counselors. Now, we know that talks broke down between the union and the colleges in mid-October, and ever since then, striking staff have been on the picket lines. Monday, today, now marking week 3 of the strike. Now, those who are stuck in the middle, of course, are the students. Hundreds of thousands of students are now worried about what this means about their school year. Classes have been canceled. Some students have called on the government to reimburse the tuition they've paid for this school year. The assurances they've been getting in return is that in the history of job action on college campuses, at no point has the school year ever been affected. Up to date, the longest job action on college campuses has been 21 days. But again, we've been entering now week 3 since this strike began. So as for what's happening here at this hotel later this morning, striking staff are expected to be here at around 7:30 this morning. We will, of course, be here for all of that, and we'll give you all of the developments as they happen, Carolyn. But for now, I'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Marianne. Well, for 2 weeks now, 12,000 Ontario college teachers and staff have been on strike, and their job action shows no signs of slowing down. Our Marianne Dimain is outside the courtyard Marriott Hotel on Yonge Street with the latest. Marianne.
Good morning, Carolyn. And later this morning, striking college workers are expected to come outside of this downtown hotel near Yonge and College to start picketing here. Normally they picket outside of their college campuses, but today they'll be coming here because this is where Minister of Advanced Education Deb Matthews is expected to speak at a conference on campus mental health. But striking workers say if you want to show support for striking, or rather campus mental health, the best way to show support is for full-time workers, and those include the jobs of counselors. So we know that talks broke down between the union and the colleges in mid-October. Ever since then, college workers have been on strike. Monday, today, marks the start of week 3 of the strike, but that has left students in the middle. Hundreds of thousands of students have been left with canceled classes and worries about what this means about their school year. Of course, this has been going on for many days now, and really no new negotiations planned. Last week, striking workers had rallied outside of Minister Deb Matthews' office, calling for her to bring both sides back to the table. But again, no end in sight for this strike. So as for what's planned here outside of the courtyard Marriott later this morning, they're expected to be here with their signs, picketing at around 7:30. The conference where the minister is expected to speak is later this morning, but we will be hoping to talk to the union as well to get a better sense of what they hope their message will be and what they hope the minister will have as a response to what they're doing this morning. But for now, Carolyn, I'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Marianne. Well, for 2 weeks now, 12,000 Ontario college teachers and staff have been on strike, and their job action shows no signs of slowing down. Our Marianne Dimain is outside the courtyard Marriott Hotel on Yonge Street with more on what is happening today. Marianne.
Good morning, Carolyn. Normally the picketers are outside of their college campuses. This morning they're here outside of this downtown hotel at Yonge and College. They're here because this is where Minister of Advanced Education Deb Matthews will be for a conference on campus mental health. But they say the true way to support mental health on campus is to support full-time jobs on campus, including those of campus counselors. Now, they've also been calling on the minister to get the colleges back at the bargaining table. Talks broke down between the union and the colleges in mid-October, and since then workers have been on strike. 12,000 college workers all across the province, and today marks the start of week 3 of this strike. Now, some of the key issues that led to the talks breaking down is the fact that the union wants to match the number of full-time jobs with those of workers on contract. They also want job security and academic freedom, among a long list of other things. Of course, that did not lead to a deal, and now at this point no new talks are planned between both sides. Students, though, caught in the middle. Hundreds of thousands of students have now been faced with canceled classes and worries about what this means for their school year. As for what's happening here right now, they hope Deb Matthews, Minister of Advanced Education, will hear their message, because they really will plan to be here until about 10 o'clock this morning. That conference that the minister will be speaking at doesn't start until after 8 o'clock. We will, of course, be here for the rest of the morning to get some reaction. We're also going to be talking to someone from OPSU in the next 15 minutes or so, and we'll have what she has to say coming up in the next half hour, Carolyn. But for now, I'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Marianne. Well, for 2 weeks now, 12,000 Ontario college teachers and staff have been on strike, and their job action shows no signs of slowing down. Marianne Dimain is outside the Courtyard Marriott Hotel on Yonge Street with more on what is happening today. Marianne.
Good morning, Carolyn. Behind me, you can see and hear that the picketers are not on their college campuses. They've actually decided to come here to the Courtyard Marriott, chanting this: equal work for equal pay. And that is why they're here this morning, to send a message to the Minister of Advanced Education, Deb Matthews, who is expected to come here to the Courtyard Marriott for a conference on campus mental health. They're saying that the best way for her to show support for campus mental health is to support full-time jobs on college campuses, including those of counselors who deal with mental health. This morning we spoke with a representative of OPSU, the union representing these unionized workers, and this is what she had to say this morning.
Well, specifically, she's talking about mental health in the colleges at the same time that our counselors are increasingly outsourced or let go or shrunk down into like almost negligible numbers at many of the colleges. So this was a chance to once again encourage the minister to get council back to the table to talk about exactly these issues.
Now, at this point, there are no signs that this strike is coming to an end. As for the minister, she's expected to be here at this hotel to speak at the conference at around 9 o'clock this morning. These guys will be here till about 10 o'clock, hoping that their message will be heard. We will be here throughout the morning too, Carolyn, and we'll bring you anything that happens here. But for now, I'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Marianne. Well, for 2 weeks now, 12,000 Ontario college teachers and staff have been on strike, and their job action shows no signs of slowing down. Our Marianne Dimain is outside the Courtyard Marriott Hotel on Yonge Street with more on what the teachers are planning this morning. Marianne.
Good morning, Carolyn. You can see some of the striking college faculty are here outside of the Courtyard Marriott downtown. Normally, they're picketing outside of their campuses, but they're here this morning because at around 9 o'clock this morning, Minister of Advanced Education Deb Matthews is expected to speak at a conference here on campus mental health. And their message to her is basically that if she wants to support campus mental health, she should support good full-time jobs on campus, including those of counselors. We know talks broke down between the union and the colleges in mid-October. Since then, they have been on the picket lines, today marking the start of week 3 of that strike. Of course, it is the students who are caught in the middle here, hundreds of thousands now wondering what this means for them because classes are now canceled. I spoke with someone from OPSU this morning, and this is what she had to say about what that means for students.
The longest was 20 days, so we were out for, I believe, 4 weeks at that point. But we are already in danger of losing the semester. The colleges claim they have a plan, but there's not been a single faculty member consulted on that plan, so I'm not sure how that could possibly be good for students.
So the striking staff members are bundled up. They're wearing their signs, fairness for contract faculty. They were also chanting earlier this morning. They're going to be here until about 10 o'clock this morning. And again, the minister is expected to be here at the Courtyard Marriott for that conference on campus mental health at around 9 o'clock this morning. So we will be here for all of that, and we'll have any reaction that comes up and any developments and have that for you on the noon later today. But for now, Carolyn, I'll send that back to you.
All right, thank you, Marianne.